Hi guys, welcome back for my third trimester update. So basically, I just wanted to kind of give you guys an overview of how the third trimester has been going for me. Overall pretty well so far. I am 36 weeks, so nearing the end. I wanted to make sure that I got through like a pretty good portion of the third trimester to be able to give you like an accurate outline of how I've been feeling. So yeah, let's jump into it. So in terms of like food and stuff, I noticed that I've been way more thirsty again in the third trimester. It kind of dwindled off like in the second trimester, but in the first trimester I was extremely thirsty, and I'm noticing that again in the third trimester. So constantly drinking water, and then smaller meals. So they usually say that you should have smaller meals throughout your pregnancy in general, but I felt like it wasn't 100% necessary until I started getting into like 30 and on in the third trimester. I started noticing a lot more like indigestion, constipation, which ends up picking up because, you know, your organs are like so squished up here. So it takes a lot longer for everything to process. So the smaller meals definitely started coming in handy. I would say probably around like 30-ish weeks on, I noticed that like I really needed to focus on smaller meals. So I've been trying to do that, and just being mindful of like what I'm eating and making sure I'm not eating too many acidic foods, or gluten for me because I'm gluten sensitive, because that seems to trigger a lot more indigestion, and it lasts for like a significant amount of time. So it's not just like I could eat something and sit up for an hour or two and like it'll go away. It's like 6 hours. So just to try to like avoid a lot of that, I try to stay away from those foods as much as possible. And that seems to be able to fix it, and the smaller meals are great. So I don't feel like too stuffed, and I'm giving my body enough time to digest and everything. So then I've had a lot more ligament pain, I noticed, in the third trimester. Again, this is something that I noticed a lot more in the first trimester, and then not so much in the second trimester. But in the third trimester, I noticed it started to pick up again. And I would say the difference is the ligament pain is a little bit more intense, and the area is different. So for the first trimester, I noticed it like really low, and for the third trimester, I'm noticing it more on like my sides, and it just comes and goes. Like it's not super consistent, but yeah. So I noticed that in the third trimester. And then I started getting Braxton Hicks. I think I felt my first one around 28 weeks, and they weren't super consistent between then and once I started getting into my 30s, but I would say right around 32 weeks, they started to become way more consistent per day. I started tracking them just to make sure that there wasn't like an issue. I mean, I know that they're completely different from full-on contractions, but I just wanted to make sure there wasn't any like trends happening that I wasn't, that I didn't know about. So I just started tracking them, and I would say it depended on my activity level on how many I was getting per day, but I would say around that time frame, sometimes I would get like 5 in a day, and sometimes I would get like 10 in a day. So they were happening like, you know, random throughout the day, but pretty consistent. And then after 32 weeks, 33 weeks, and things like that, I started reducing my activity levels because I also started noticing more back pain, which is something that I had in the first trimester, but not in the second trimester. So, yeah, I noticed a lot more back pain, but it helped with reducing my activity. And then I started going to a pelvic floor therapist, which I highly recommend. It's been so amazing. I started going at 29 weeks, I believe, and went all the way up until 36. The last 4 weeks for me, they said that they usually don't do before you're due. So I did that stint of time, and I found it to be significantly helpful for a variety of reasons. One, I was able to be educated in so many different areas of my body that I wasn't aware of. And they also gave me so many tools to be able to manage a lot of the pains and things that I was having, which helped significantly. So just altering some of my workouts and combining specific types of breathing when I'm doing certain exercises, which I wasn't aware of. They also do an internal exam, so it helped me to understand what was happening inside and how that's connected to making my birth possibly less intense or slightly shorter, and just kind of how to like manage all of that. So all of it was extremely helpful, and I would say doing all of the breathing exercises daily and a lot of the different stretches and altering my workouts and generally reducing my workouts throughout the week basically got rid of all of my Braxton Hicks and the majority of my back pain unless I'm super active that day. So overall, I would say like 110% worth it. In general, I'm moving a lot slower now, more of like a waddle because my hips are widening, baby's getting lower. All normal things. I'm noticing since my belly is bigger and he is lower, that like bending triggers Braxton Hicks and generally just wears me out quicker. So I try to be cautious of how many times I'm bending over per day, which is like something you wouldn't necessarily have to think about. And then let's see, around the 30-week mark, I noticed a dip in my energy. So I was like working out and doing walks pretty regularly. I would say like 4 to 6 times a week. And as I continued into my third trimester, I just was, reducing it slightly. And I would say once I hit like that 30-week mark, I noticed that I did need to reduce it significantly more, and each week since then I've had to reduce it. So now being at like 36 weeks, this week I've only worked out 2 times, and I've done like 2 walks, but my walks have gotten significantly shorter. So like sometimes I would do like a 45-minute to an hour walk, and now I'm doing like, a 20 to 30-minute walk. So everything has been like rapidly changing and like decreasing, just because doing a couple workouts and then doing a couple walks like starts to just put me out of commission for the week, because I'm also just doing, daily things around the house, like cooking and cleaning and taking care of the dogs and all the things, which plays a part. So yeah, that's that. I noticed around 35 weeks, there was like another pretty big dip where I could tell that I was pretty tired, and I probably could have started taking naps last week, but I very much enjoy my sleep. And so my logic behind not taking naps, one, I'm just not a very good nap taker. I probably should utilize the quiet time that I have and availability to actually be able to take a nap before I have a baby, but it's just like not in my wheelhouse, I feel like. And also, I feel like it's benefited me not to take any naps, because then at the end of the day, I crash and like sleep very well. And as long as like baby isn't up and I don't have any indigestion, I usually will be able to sleep fully through the night, besides obviously getting up to like go to the bathroom. So that has been so amazing. I would say week 35, I really tried to focus on that because I was getting significantly more tired than I ever had been. But I was crashing at the end of the night, and I was sleeping like from like 10 to 6 almost every single day for that full week span. So I really like soaked that in, that time that I actually got to sleep. And then now being in my 36th week, I noticed that the sleep decline has happened, which I've noticed a lot of people have said, you know, after you pass the 35 week, depending on like the person and everything, that sleep does start to decline. So for me, it is the things I'm noticing that are affecting sleep is not necessarily him being like up and moving, because sometimes he is, but I feel like I've been good with like having a lot of activity, that he's kind of up a lot during the day, so he sleeps at night, which I'm grateful for. But I'm noticing like I'm getting up to go to the bathroom more because I'm so thirsty, so I'm drinking so much, and the indigestion, and then I'm also noticing that because he's weighing more, so my belly's weighing more, that when I'm sleeping on my side and I go to turn, it takes a lot more effort and energy, that I kind of have to like wake myself up to like strategize how to turn. And I'm turning more often because my sides are getting sore, like my shoulders are getting sore, like my hips are getting sore. So just the constant moving back and forth, and then constant moving to get up to go to the bathroom, has been waking me up more, and I've been not able to fall asleep as easily. So I would say that has been affecting my sleep the most. I'm just going to try and keep the indigestion in check so that that doesn't play a huge part in it. And then just hoping that I wear myself out enough during the day that like I can sleep a decent amount in these next couple weeks, because I assume it will probably just get worse. But overall, I feel like I've been pretty good in the third trimester. I'm just noticing like now that the decrease in activity levels and like a little bit more pain and different things like that is just starting to happen. But I only have 4 weeks left, so and that's obviously if he doesn't come early, so I feel like that's pretty good. But yeah, overall I would say it's been great. It's been a great experience so far. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the third trimester. I think I'm working on hospital bags, so I think I'm gonna compile all of that together and then throw a video together for that. And I know it's gonna vary on, you know, where you are and what your hospital provides, but I'm just gonna share what our hospital provides, and hopefully that'll be helpful for someone. But yeah, thanks for hanging out with me and seeing how my third trimester is going. I will be back to update you on hopefully a couple more things before baby arrives. All right, I will see you later. Bye.